Hello and welcome to PKR TV. Sunday night at the 3D poker room PKR.com is when the sharps come out. Coming up on tonight's show, we've got high octane action from the Sunday High Roller. Just 6 players remain at the final table, fighting for first prize of $3,800. Our chip leader as we pick up the action is German star Check Raise. And there's a very special guest in the commentary booth, Team PKR Pro, Jay Cody.
Well, just 6 remain from 91 who stumped up $162 for this elite little contest. And, well, a couple of these will be looking at the first place and hoping to atone for previous near misses. But before we get to that, Youngchevsky, well, actually, he's one of them. Last week in this same event,
I fold.
He couldn't quite get there, finished third.
I fold.
Starts this contest shortish stacked. But he's definitely one to look out for. Performed really nicely last week, but just didn't get the cards at the right time at the end. But he knows exactly what to do. Jake, you've taken part in this little contest once or twice. Did I see your name on the participants list last week?
I've played it a few times.
All right. Blinds 2 and 5. Not many decisions to be made when you're this short.
Yeah, seems like easy all in here from lol while you can.
Fold.
Wow.
Well,
tight fold.
Yeah, it's tight. He's actually played this, well, he's got a 2nd place in 2010, a 3rd in 2011 in this event. He's going to have to get busy to improve on those this time.
Yep.
Cool. Sitam opens.
Yep, like it.
No,
Both kind of loose. Defends.
you'd rather see a 3-bet from maybe the ace-8 suited?
I would love the free bet from the ace-8. Absolutely love it.
Well, he's got there. Check raise has got a piece of it and nothing for the open raiser.
Yep. You could get crazy though.
Well, he's thinking about it.
Imagine this probably goes bet call again.
Check.
Oh.
Well, the pot's 80,000. He's got 135,000.
Yeah. So look, I
The
feel like
next
the
bet's
ace-8
going to be like pretty much your whole stack.
I feel like the ace-8 should be quite happy with. It's not the greatest run out.
Well,
now.
and considering that it got checked back to him on the turn, he now must figure he's good.
Yeah.
Goes for a bit of value.
Like it.
And neither of these players have screamed strength, so maybe the ace-3 is going to find a way to make the call.
Wow. I felt like it was small enough for him just to call, but no.
Well, that's a different line, but is it credible? Does it make sense?
It does, to be honest. I feel like he could have easily rivered 2-pair with like some sort of like 7-8 suited.
Some kind of weird straight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it did not get through. It didn't make sense to 1, 2, 3, 4 jack, and in the end he wins a nice little pot. But
yeah, that was quite an interesting hand actually.
Yeah, unorthodox from start to finish.
Very unorthodox, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Well, one player we haven't mentioned, Check Raise, 2 Masters final tables. Once this year, 2nd place worth 15k. So he's obviously putting this money to good use. And a win here will be 3,822, not to be sniffed at.
I hope he doesn't shove here. I hope if he folds the king 9, he
well,
shouldn't shove that.
last time he passed the king 9.
Yeah.
He decides against it this time too. Sitam.
It's one of my favourite hands actually, Jack 8 suited.
Well, he opened with the suited queen from the button.
Like it.
For 12,250. He does it again. Oh, but this time he's going to hear the bad news.
Huge hand.
Fold.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 jack.
Wow, he's just clicked it. It's a min free bet.
Desperate to eke out some value from his opponent, and he gets some more. Oh boy!
Wow, it's actually something I've been toying with recently. The min free bet.
Okay.
Something I've been.
But always in position rather than out of position.
Always in position.
I'm going to check.
So I actually do. I kind of like it.
Bet.
But He's unlucky, obviously. Here.
Yeah,
So-
there's some risk involved, but
There
I
is risk
guess it's
involved.
the greedy man's play because you just don't want to lose your customers.
Let's
presumably.
take the turn card.
Exactly.
Well, you know,
Might slow the kings down.
yeah, that's right.
I'm going to check.
Sitam can't risk
I check.
I like to
losing
check.
his man.
Here's the river.
I think he just folds out a lot of hands when he bets.
And now, for
I see.
Sitam, it's a question of how much do you... What's the best way to extract a bit more? Is an all-in just too greedy?
Okay, let's do it.
I think Nolan's maybe. I think I'd
Back
bet
of
this
the
amount.
net.
Just I feel like you can get called by ace high, as well as I think obviously kings are never going to fold to like a small bet.
Yeah, well, the king sees a sizable chunk of his stack depart. Do you think that will make him kind of second-guess his min-raise, or do you just think, well, that's the way it is and you move on?
I think that's the way it is. I think like he's got him in there out of position with his jack eight. Like most of the time he's going to hit one pair and
Get
lose
into
more
trouble.
chips, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's
Fold.
no
Fine
rest for the
raise.
Brit. Min-raise from early.
All in.
Youngchevsky,
yeah.
lovely little spot for him.
Yep. Oh, he's running behind.
I raise.
Yeah, I think the sevens. I probably would have called
I'd
the first
fold.
guy, but then you got to fold now.
Fold.
Yeah, well, there was an extra
Let's
20
see the
grand
flop.
in that pot, so Youngchevsky, unless something strange happens, which it won't,
Here comes the
Chop it
river.
up.
he'll add another 10k to his stack, and he's certainly not out of it.
No.
I mean, the fact that this is
Okay,
quite a
you
short field.
Yeah, I think in tournament poker, like anything could happen. Like you could be nearly out and then chip leader. It's happened to me more than once. Mostly chip leader, then nearly
And
out.
then back, yeah. Well, here he goes. Easily good enough hands. We know he'd do it with less because he is a class player.
Fold.
And it's 72 grand. How much do you want to call and how much do you want it to get through with pocket eights?
I think you want it to get through, to be honest, most of the time. There's not many worse pairs that are going to call, and then you don't really want to flip for your tournament life.
Okay, new hand.
I mean, you've got to take a flip sometimes, so I mean, it's kind of like, if you flip and if you get called and you hold, you're happy. But if not,
Raise.
Yeah.
it was actually quite a
I fold.
tightish fold from the king queen when the guy shoved the eights. But probably a fold.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, jack.
Call.
He's certainly had the highest bet frequency of
Seems
anyone
quite
at this
active.
table. Milby defends from the small.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit too loose.
Yeah,
Ace
lol
six off.
while you can. Well, he's crippled and
I
Oh.
call.
snap calls for basically hardly
Yeah,
more than the
I
bet.
think he's got to just go with it there.
Yeah, and he's live and can actually
Yeah,
win a
that's a
55k pot here. And he's the only one with the heart.
He is.
And this will be interesting for the side pot. You would imagine the jack would want to
Yeah,
protect his hand.
Definitely should bet, I think.
And how much do you read into that if you're sat there with the ace-6? Ah, well,
That's a good fold.
you didn't fancy it at all.
I think it gets
And
so
here's
messy.
the river.
Just check corner out position there with no heart and just middle pair.
Well, that is our first victim. And lol, while you can, well, he adds to... This is his third final table. It is a sixth place, and it's only $751. But next time,
Raise.
maybe. 3 Germans left. The most experienced, Melby. It's his 98th final table.
I love
I'm
this.
going to fold.
Seems 1, 2, 3, 4 has been like quite active, and seems like young Chevsky's picked up on it and has made like a light 3-bet shove.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to call another 60k without a genuine hand, presumably.
Love it, and he's picked up like 20k there. It's like it's great accumulation.
Yeah, started off just under 60k.
Okay, new hand.
And, well, if you can get a double up, those extra 30,000 odd chips will
Yep.
make a massive difference.
Gives him more time to find a hand as well with the blinds going up.
Raise.
1, 2, 3, 4. No surprise to see him min-raise again.
Fold.
Fold.
Round to Melby, who's been pretty keen to see some flops.
Yeah, Melby's been quite peely.
Here comes the flop.
Decides not to 3-bet. Haven't seen an awful lot of that from anyone at this final table so far.
No. Is Melby going to do something creative?
Well,
She is.
okay, it's kind of a back to
Here's
front
the turn card.
way to play the hand.
If she bets again, I'd really like it. But if she, I hope she does.
Check.
She should have had the second barrel there.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
think.
fancy representing.
Yeah, she picks up a gut
hand.
shot as well now on the turn.
Oh dear,
And-
can we see?
I
Can we
hope so.
see another street of unfortunate decision? What's the decision going to be?
I'm gonna bet.
Oh, that's
Quite
the.
small too.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
really don't think she folds down too much here.
Raise.
And he min raises. I actually like this.
Yeah, Melby, I just think she's gonna feel like you could just erase that hand from
Yeah,
her memory
I'd
and just try not
try
to
and forget about it.
Yeah, just kind of like, hopefully maybe it'll just
Pretend it didn't
roust
happen.
her into, approaching the next few hands in a slightly different way.
Yep.
Call pre-flop and then lead flop, check turn, and
Yeah,
then
just,
lead
I
river.
feel like it had kind of the right idea. It was kind of aggressive, but a little bit too passive, a little bit too on the passive side at the
yeah,
same time.
there was kind of a bit of a
It's
stutter
more,
in the middle.
more random
I fold.
aggression
Right.
rather than like making a plan for the hand.
All in.
Well,
I fold.
two-time Masters finalist check raise is reasonably short, but again, this is interesting really because the two short stacks are, in my opinion, among the top three players
Yeah.
at this final table.
Been
And
this
they-
spot quite a few times. It's quite frustrating when you feel like you've got a big edge on the table, but like you've got less than 20 big blinds, so you can't really do much besides be
I
patient
fold.
and look for good spots.
Yeah, I guess they'll be hoping that their opponents continue to play
all in.
pretty snug
Yeah.
and that they can just keep stealing away.
There you go.
Well, here we go. Actually, that's not the case. They take each other
Here's
on.
the turn card.
It's looking good for check raise. Unfortunate for young Chevsky.
Yep.
Well, one of them's going to come out with a decent stack. And actually, he's vaulted to chip leader.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how little there is in this contest. We lose young Chevsky. A real shame. A fine player who will no doubt encounter again.
Yeah, he looked like he was playing well. That's
I fold.
unfortunate for him.
Yeah, the Australian gets $956. Don't forget, 3,822 for the winner.
Fold.
I'm all in.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, we
Yeah.
we miss a few hands, and check raise is now up
check
to
raise
441.
Stick raise is crushing, absolutely crushing.
So yeah, don't forget, folks, that obviously we only have half an hour here, but this final table may well have taken an hour and a half, maybe even longer, and so we're missing a lot of essentially boring but crucial hands.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like just raising, just and taking the blinds a lot
I fold.
is what wins you tournaments. Not all the big
I'm
hands.
all
Yeah, it'd be
in.
nice to have some stats as to how many hands
Cool.
won, uncontested pre-flop. I think we would find out that check raise is winning the
Yeah, she's
lion's
just
share.
absolutely putting the hammer down now.
Yeah, and the longer these guys wait for a hand, the worse it's going to get for them when that hand comes, I think.
This is actually one of my favourite spots in tournament poker, when you're like the big stack and you can just like bully everyone and everyone's like waiting for each other to bust.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit
Fold.
harsh. Makes
Predatory?
you feel, yeah, it makes you feel a little bit evil. But like,
no, but,
of course, I'm going to think twice about it. Though.
yeah.
Okay, that's me all in.
Well, and Melby, once of the mid-stack, is now on the morphine drip. Less than 10 bigs.
I fold.
Fold.
Said someone's going to gamble then.
Yeah, no one's really got out of line, except for perhaps this chip leader who's just doing her job now. I mean, you're a fool and you deserve everything you get if you just let other people
Oh yeah.
play these pots and you're not involved. And
Sure.
it really doesn't look like anyone's going to put up resistance right now. Although eyes on 1, 2, 3, 4 Jack, of course.
Yep. I mean, 400, you've got to open
Okay,
up
that's
quite a
me
bit
all in.
to stay alive.
Yeah, well,
I fold.
easy
Fold.
decision
Fold.
for Melby, but it might as well have been deuce 3.
Yep.
Just enough to stay alive. Fourth place is going to get about $1,200.
Yeah, I imagine everyone's thinking about the pay jumps now. Everyone doesn't
Well,
want
I'm-
to go out next.
I'm looking at the pay jumps, but they're certainly not life-changing, and unless you satellite it in. I mean, it's a $162 buy-in, $1,200, then $1,700, then $2,300. So it's
All
it's
in.
flat enough that
I fold.
Fold.
that they shouldn't really be
fold.
looking at it. Sitam, perhaps the quietest of our 6 at this final.
Yeah.
But that can all change, I guess. Three-handed, heads up. Someone could really come alive.
It does seem like everybody besides check raise is playing quite snug, so could be just hand into hand before we see some action.
Yeah, that's
This
right.
could be it.
Raise.
1, 2, 3, 4. He's been pretty active. That'll work for him in this spot.
King Queen's pretty huge, 400.
Raise. Fold.
Don't blame her at all for this.
Yeah, she effectively sets him in.
I fold.
All in. There
He
you go.
snaps, and this
Here's
could.
the flop.
Oh, that
here's
is extremely unlucky,
Let's
given the
see
situation.
I agree. I felt like check raise seemed to have been winning every hand though, so I feel like you make your own luck sometimes.
Right.
But I feel like she kind of deserved it in a way.
Well,
But at the same time, it's unlucky for Jack.
yeah, I mean, we always like to see someone try. I mean, early on, 1, 2, 3, 4, Jack made his own luck, really.
Yeah, that's right. He seems to be.
And then 1 or 2 setbacks, and he had to rein that in a little. But he's out in fourth place, $1,229.
Yep.
And now, well, the green light really for our chip leader to just go on.
Just
Okay,
victory show of every hand.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, these two shorties, one of them
They've
might
just
just
taken
come
extra
out.
Have the turn card.
Big lead for Melby.
And here's the river.
Actually, quite a tough call.
New hand.
Well, it is a Brazilian flag, but I'm actually reliably
I'm all
informed
in.
that all these 3 are Germans. So sorry about that.
It's probably just for image.
Check raise. Obviously, these two opponents are
I'm
so
gonna fold.
short that you can
Yeah.
move them in.
Look
Makes
at
the call.
those
Only
bad
had
boys.
3 big blinds.
I think he has to call it off there and hopefully make something.
Yeah, well, a 5 would
see the
also
Ah.
do, but it does
Kind
not.
of the right
go.
area, but
Yeah. Third place for Sitam. Not a bad performance considering didn't get many hands. I suppose didn't really play loose enough to get action when he got hands.
seems to have an awkward stack size for most of the final table too. So.
I raise.
Yeah, $1,700 for him. We are heads up, dominating chip lead for arguably the best player at this table.
I
All
can
in.
only see one outcome here, really.
I fold.
And I suppose there's an element of if you're absolutely confident of being able to chip away at your opponent and you don't really want to give them any free chances.
Yeah,
You wouldn't give them a race,
I
really,
agree.
would you?
No way. If you're against an opponent who you feel like you've got a big edge against, you don't want to let them just get the money in where they've got like
Raise.
good equity. You just want to play small pots with them.
Yeah, I would imagine we're going to see 100% raises from the button here.
Okay, that's me all in. I fold.
Melby seems to be picking up a power a bit. Picking up the aggression, I like it. From the other hand, she was playing at the final table. I expected to just peel though with King 10, but I feel like she should shove, and
Okay, new hand.
she did.
Yeah. Well, she's going to need something.
I think I'll raise.
Makes it 2.5x
I'm
with
gonna
the
call.
ace.
Here
I'm
comes
not
the
convinced
flop.
about this peel.
Well,
Jack raise. Seems a little bit too shallow.
perhaps there's
I
a
check.
confidence in post-flop play that even though they're quite
All
shallow...
in.
Wow.
Fold.
Well,
That is.
chose to measure the raise pre-flop instead of moving in, although how
Yeah.
much has she got? 20 bigs?
Yeah, I think it was
Can't
about
quite
18
remember.
when she opened.
And is that too much to...
I think maybe it's just a personal preference. I do
Right.
see players peel there, but for me, I feel like you get into trouble too much. But I mean, I guess
Raise.
against some opponents, it's okay.
Yeah, this is what we'd expect from check raise. And it will make
I
life
call.
difficult for Mel. Ah, well, there you go. You see a shove with King 10, but the peel with King 3. She has got there,
That's a good flop.
Check.
or rather held, I suppose one might say.
Bet.
But
Well,
I
kind
guess
of.
she needed to
Yeah, she
hit
needs-
in order to win the hand,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
And that
Fold.
made it quite easy. And, well, you never know. You
Yeah.
do never know. It's only a,
You
what,
have-
3-1...
Yep.
Shit
But to be honest,
lead.
Melby's been getting the aggression up. I can see her winning now.
Okay. I have got the result in front of me, so I
I've not
won't.
looked.
I won't take a bet with you.
All in.
Oh, that's
Fold.
a huge shove.
It is rather scaring away your customer with
I
a
feel
hand
like
that
Melby
is-
kind of just wants to get this over with, which is like working not in the favour of check raise. He probably wants to play small pots. But I mean, I think she's like giving herself a chance to win. I feel like if you're a player against a better player, you should like increase the variance as much as possible,
Right.
and just try and make it gambly.
Raise.
Check raise again with the min raise from the button. Melby, obviously
Call.
perfectly happy. Peels with the king queen when we would
Let's see the
expect
flop.
a shove.
Yeah.
Having open shove with exactly the same hand from the
Yeah,
button.
that's surprising.
I'm going to check.
She does seem to make quite a lot of random plays.
Indeed. Well, it's working. It's going to work out here.
It makes life easy when you hit top pair every time you peel, though.
Indeed. But then what happens after that? Do you
Alright.
maximise your value by check calling here? You know your opponent's aggressive.
I
And
call.
here's a turn card.
Ooh,
Wow. That is
floats in position.
mystifying float.
I'm all in.
I guess check raise was just hoping she was
Fold.
just on a complete bluff and just gave up.
Right.
And she can always hit a jack.
And maybe just an element of frustration too from check raise.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it's certainly, I can't think of a single hand that's gone her way.
No, I don't think it's the worst play in the world to float there, but didn't work out.
Well, momentum and presumably confidence boost for Melby. And,
Yeah.
well, of the two, Melby's had 98 final tables, check raise
Call.
just 12. But in pure money terms, check raise is a $10,000 and a $5,000 cash in the Masters.
Raise.
Oh, and she's come out with a
I call.
small free bet there.
Here's a flop.
Wow, trying a number of different things here, check raise.
Yeah.
Trying to find a way to kind of stop this flow of chips to Melby.
It was the min free bet with the 85 out of position.
From the tone of your voice, I think we can assume that
Bet.
Well, it's unorthodox.
it's not to be advised.
Here's a turn
It's
card.
definitely unorthodox.
Well, at what point? At
I
what
check.
point does one slow down? Yep, there we go. Pot control mode. Certainly not happy to get it in against Melby, who I think we can assume is kind of.
Bet.
They get all the chips in. You can assume that they've got a.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty
Fold.
good hand.
It's a good fold. It's gonna be. I could see why she could get frustrated there and just go with it.
Well, this definitely hasn't gone the way that
No, not at all.
we thought it would.
New hand.
Yeah, Melby's chips up now to nearly 400k.
Yeah, they must be virtually even now. Melby, this is
Oh.
yeah. I was curious about that. Like, I guess we haven't seen a few of these hands in between, but you know, I wouldn't imagine that Melby is raising a lot of buttons.
No, it doesn't seem to her
Doesn't-
style.
Yeah.
It seems to be very random. So I can't really predict what she's going to do next, to be honest.
I raise.
Which can be tough to play against.
For
obviously,
sure. I've
obviously.
definitely played against a lot of players who it's just you
Bamboozles
don't know what the hell
your
they're doing,
thought
so
process,
it's
yeah.
I'm going to call.
hard to abuse them.
Well, here we go. A monster for
Here's
check
the-
raise who picks up a customer who's gone ahead right
Okay.
now.
I thought no one's got a spade.
But again, hard
Let's
to
have the
predict if you
turn.
start firing barrels. Oh, well, that kind of makes this
That
hand
is
a lot easier to
great
play.
turn for Melby, obviously.
Check.
Check raise checks the flop, but can she bring herself to check turn?
I bet.
I don't feel so, and no.
Yeah, I think I'd bet there just to, you don't want a random 7-8 with the 8 of spades just getting there for free.
I call.
Here comes the river.
98,000 in the pot. A chance to win the chip lead here for Melby.
I'm going to check.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It would have been interesting if she
gonna
led
check.
then. Yeah,
Ah.
I like the check from check raise.
Yeah. You like the check from both? as well? I mean, do you
I feel like if Melby led, like if I was in check raise's spot, the way the hand played out, I might have even called with ace high, just
Right.
because. What
You
the hell
have-
can she have?
Well, this is a most unusual heads-up clash.
Raise.
Check raise again.
Yep.
Relentless,
Deuces.
but been
I
Melby
call.
has certainly been steadfast from the
Here
big
comes the
blind.
flop.
Ooh,
Oh boy.
I feel like Melby is going to overplay a hand a lot in this spot.
Check.
50,000 in the pot.
Yeah, I can't. To be honest, I
Bet.
cannot see her get away from it.
Oh, and check raise makes it big enough that this pot's going to get large quick.
Yep. Looks like she's going to need a 5. Or running miracle.
Yeah, Melby probably thinking that this could be the tournament right here.
I hope she check calls.
I think I'll raise.
Well, we've seen a raise before when perhaps a call would have been better, but
Raise.
Yeah. I feel like she's just letting herself get it in with the worst hander.
yeah, and this is the
Okay,
first
that's
4-bet
me
we've seen in a long time, and
Yeah,
it
and
was
she's-
telling the story, but
She got
Melby
4
Let's
outs.
see.
didn't figure it out. Well, and that's the end. Check raise won it in the end, but came close to losing that
Yeah.
chip lead.
She did.
It's a nice win, check raise. $3,822 adds to her impressive resume on PKR.
Well done to Check Race from Germany, who has picked up $3,822. Dan, it was a pillar-to-post win.
Yeah, absolutely. He came in with the chip lead, and you always fancy the chip leader to win it, but it rarely, well, it doesn't often happen. No Limit Hold'em, things can change in an instant, but he played really great, solid poker all the way through. He definitely deserved the win.
Anyone else, do you think, at the table deserve a mention?
Well, it was a super high quality final table, and 3 or 4 of them could really have gone on to win that. I really like young Chevsky. He had a short stack, so he was handcuffed. He could have done more if he just got a double up at the right time. 1, 2, 3, 4 Jack. I also really like his game. It's the first time I've come across him. He busted early, but he's a really good, solid player, and they've got plenty of heart, those two, plenty of aggression, and they'll do well in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Dan. And, well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.